RPG 그대로의 RPG 불멸의 전사 2.
I suppose so, but guys, we're gonna take a look at this. Bomber 3-3. He started out 3-0. Okay, now he's gone 0-3 in his last 3 games. Forte himself, he's 0-4, so he's not doing better at all to take Bomber's side here for a second.
But Forte is a lot like Departure, where he's still young.
Yeah.
There's a lot. We see there's a lot of potential in him, but honestly, I think Forte has been being shadowed by other Terran rookies like Speed, for example. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, they did play against each other last round, and that was a crazy game. We might see the same thing here.
Yeah, definitely could happen. Let's take a look at the predictions.
Oh, actually.
Foreigners versus Koreans once again. We're going to get in the boxing ring 4 against 3 because there's more of us. So Forte wins the food. Guys, we're going to jump into game number 4 now. Bomber versus Forte. Up here in the top right, in the purple, it is Bomber, our veteran player from Afreeca.
And spawning here at the bottom left as the light blue Terran for MVP, the younger player, it is Forte. We have a lot of MVP fans here today.
Yeah, we got the big cheer.
The hearty cheer. Yeah, so nothing too crazy here from both players. Forte opting to go for that supply depot at the near the mineral line rather than completing the wall off. Just a slight advantage in mining advantage, I guess, by doing that.
What are you thinking about this map for this matchup? We talked a lot about Bomber's inconsistency, how Forte really hasn't made his mark, but do you feel like it really favors either one of these players in any way?
Well, the thing with Dust Towers, it's a very stock standard map. It's very easy to take 3 bases on this map. Actually, it's very easy to take 4 bases on this map compared to the other similar map that we have in the map pool for Pro League, which is Orbital Shipyard. I think maps like Dust Towers will favor a more mechanically superior player like Forte. I'm not really sure if Bomber has anything up his sleeve to surprise Forte, so I want to give the advantage to Forte here, which is why we all voted for him.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird to say that Forte seems like the more mechanically sound player, but especially with the way Bomber's been playing, you were talking about as a player gets old. I mean, this guy's like 27, 28 by now. It does become harder to be really on point with all those mechanics. So Forte, kind of the new blood, the young blood, trying to come in here and take Bomber's spot in a way.
I mean, the only player that I can think of in history of Starcraft to be able to win games sheerly off their strategic knowledge rather than the mechanics is probably Nestea.
Yeah,
and Nestea's like he's a literal god tasteless.
Yeah, he really is. Like, that's where that meme actually spawned, like back in those days. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of an interesting build coming out of Forte. Is going for the extra Reapers, whereas Bomber just making 2 Marines so far.
Yeah, there's no need to send that Reaper to harass the base of Bomber, as he does have that SEV just hanging there, chilling out. He's going to see the 2 Marines, and he's probably going to move that SEV back to a different position where he's going to be able to catch whenever Bomber decides to move out. And Bomber actually hasn't sent his own SEV out to scout yet, I believe, so we'll just have to see. Oh, okay. It's quite greedy.
Forte taking a risk here on a very big map. If you're going to pick a map, this is probably the one to do it. This or like Frost.
Yeah.
But even on this one, you got that big ramp at the 3rd base. It's pretty easy to defend. It's very close to your main. And yeah, I like it. As long as Bomber doesn't come across the map.
Oh no, Bomber's doing the same thing as well. So I think we're going to be get your popcorn, guys, get your iced tea.
Yeah, if you're in the studio, you can come up here.
Because we're going to be here for a while for this game. As looks like Forte will see that reactor, but he won't see the factory, I believe. And actually, we see an early Hellion here coming from Forte. I guess he just feels quite threatened by that sizable amount of Marines that are out for Bomber here.
Yeah. Looks like that does finish. was not cancel. I thought it was for a second. Here come the two, well, just one Reaper actually coming to the front. It looks like now he wants to scout specifically for this third base.
And we've got a Cyclone here from Bomber. I'm not really sure if Cyclone is the best option for the situation that we're in right now. It's like, and the Viking as well. So Bomber's being very safe here.
Yeah, this is like, he's got the safety gloves, the safety goggles, the safety boots. He's got his safety underwear on right now.
Well, Forte's doing the same thing as well as getting that Cyclone. So both players, they're just playing with like rubber gloves and
yeah.
I mean,
they're like attacking each other's with balloons and stuff.
I mean, like the next things we know, they're playing on the novice version of this map. So,
well, we got the Reaper coming in here. Does scout the two engineering bays and their timing. I'm not sure if you got to click on that C specifically, but he is definitely later on the draw there if he does want to go for his engineering bays anytime soon.
But looks like both these players are just they're playing so safe right now. It's ridiculous. But the thing is, Bomber hasn't lifted his command center to that third base yet, so Forte does have that slight income advantage right now with those SVs mining from that third base.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, Bomber does have the orbital, of course, and so he's going to be dropping those mules, but doesn't have that extra base of saturation for sure.
Yeah, the advantage Bomber has right now is got those +1 upgrades going a lot quicker, or not a lot quicker.
Yeah.
As I just see that pop up for Forte. So this is very mirrored match right now. Very passive from both players, very defensive, and both players are pretty much in the dark. But it doesn't really matter because they're not going to attack each other anytime soon.
Yeah, they're playing like greedy but very safe styles, and kind of makes sense for this. As we said before, really the only advantage that Forte has is having this third base down on the low ground a little bit earlier. Talking about some units, I suppose. I take a look at the unit tab, and it's basically just mirrored across the board. There's one extra tank that has come out a little bit sooner for Bomber, whereas Forte is a little bit later on the draw there on that tank production. He's actually one behind now.
Yeah, Forte's stim is slightly ahead compared to Bomber's, but it's... What's the timer right now? 6 minutes. I think we're just going to be waiting for another 10 minutes here. Actually, Bomber's actually deviating here. He's getting a... Has he got a reactor on that starport?
Let me take a look.
Yes.
Yes, he
okay,
does.
so he's got those 3 Vikings there for anti-air purposes, and there's the first scan coming from Forte. It feels like the first scan in like a million years there.
I think it's the first scan of the game,
yeah.
So basically.
Yeah, just Forte just confirming what he assumes. And it's a very passive, very macro-based game from both players here.
Yeah, so just sitting back, both players continuing to get their production here, and it's basically a race of like who can macro better. There's literally been, I don't think there's been any damage done in this game. Maybe like an SCV died here or there for Forte.
Actually, we look at the supply count. Bomber is around 10 supply ahead, so I guess Bomber has been known for being the parade pusher king, but also note that the armory was much earlier for Forte, so he's going to be able to get the... Actually, no, never mind. As Bomber the observer shows us. Oh, man.
Yeah, you could basically assume from this point that it's going to be mirrored, I suppose. They even starting the +1 to vehicle weapons at the same time.
I mean, like, at least we're going to know that this game isn't going to be completely based off build order wins or whatever. Yeah. It's going to be based on how well they're going to manage the game and
that's
how they're going to position their armies.
That's a really important point. I mean, we talked about this a lot, about this matchup TVT, where it's really just like a very highly skilled matchup, and you can definitely very easily outplay your opponent, even if you are behind. It's really about what you can do with the units that you have. Can you pull your opponent apart? Can you find damage on the map where he can't? Can you get a better position with your tanks, maybe deny a base here or there?
And here comes the first action of the game. We've got a medevac flying across the map for Forte. Let's see how much damage he can do. And we've also got these 2 medevacs with the tanks here. Got to pick up some units here of Bomber. Really nice move here from Forte.
Like that he's being aggressive. He's the one being active out on the map, whereas Bomber really hasn't moved out at all. He put a spotter out there, a couple of Marines out by the 4th base, but that was about it.
Oh, he tries to snipe those Vikings there, but wasted a stim there from Forte, and we're going to see this drop here come at the back expansion of Bomber, and there's no turrets
The
there.
Vikings are late. They were dealing with the medevacs at the front, and look at this. A full medevac is going to get a drop into the back door. It is going to be immediately responded to.
And, I mean, we see here Bomber actually moving a majority of his army here, and Forte's doing the best thing here, taking advantage of the fact that those tanks are there at the back expansion and is moving forward.
Oh, that is a huge move. He takes out 3 tanks, or 2 of them at least. One of them does get picked up, but that is a very nice advantage that he does gain for himself.
And look at these tanks. They're just sitting there at the back expansion. That is not where you want your tanks to be, Bomber.
Yeah, this is part of the reason why we've said like the multitasking it seems to be a bit better these days for Forte when you compare these 2 players. Looks like Forte off of the back of that one advantage he does get winning that fight. Looks like he wants to push here once again.
Oh, here we go. The tanks are dropped here. But Bomber actually has quite a nice concave.
He's got more units, and all these tanks are going to be picked off here, as well as a bunch of those medevacs. So Forte, it seems like, stepping a little bit too far there.
I'm not really sure why he decided to drop there. When he scanned the positioning and he saw there were the tanks there.
Yeah.
Maybe he felt that he could have just muscled his way through, but obviously Bomber with that defender's advantage, taking the fight there and winning it.
Perhaps he thought he got more damage done with that initial push. You know, he did take out a couple of tanks, but not that many Marines, and it looks like Bomber got the drop on the tanks first, so they got the first shot, which was very crucial. Had the concave, had the building placement even.
Oh, okay, that's... Actually, no, it looks like Bomber's trying to chase this army.
Looks like Forte's going to drop first here, and he is going to get the concave, but Bomber has more stuff. But stimming in here is Forte, and it looks like he's going to, in fact, take the fight, take out all the tanks and the Vikings at the same time.
Cyclone.
The Cyclone harass at the 4th base.
Oh, the 10-minute Cyclone harass is going to be the new strategy on Korean Ladder coming after tonight. But all jokes aside, I mean, there's a lot of questionable plays here from both players, and Bomber deciding to move out even though he had that base advantage. I mean, yeah, this game's very, very crazy.
Yeah, kind of all over the place. And now we got another stim here. I don't think this would be smart from Forte to try to go for that. Looks like he wants to drop into the main, though.
Production facilities.
Here he goes. Tanks dropping down, and he does begin to siege there. Bomber is going to respond to this immediately, and he could come from 2 sides. Forte has to be very careful about this.
Yeah, I think Bomber can actually use his space advantage here, and he's actually going to do that. He's going to drop here. He's moving his medevacs over. He's dropping them there, but the medevacs didn't really drop at the ideal location, but it does get the tanks up onto the high ground. Oh, whoa, where did those Marines come from?
Well, they dropped in there, got 8 SCVs. Looks like they also got a starport. Will eventually be cleaned up, but Bomber did take out a huge number of units there, very far ahead in the army supply at this point now.
I think Forte should stop pounding at that front base of Bomber because it's just so well defensed. I think he should try and just position himself below that 4th base of Bomber, because that 4th base is what's keeping Bomber in this game, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely would agree there. It looks like he's going to siege outside the 3rd base and send just a small group of units over there, perhaps behind the mineral line, because there is a planetary.
These Marines could have sniped those medevacs there, but okay, boost over to the right side. It looks like
there is some harass going down at that 4th base in the meantime.
Okay, so he wants to defend that 4th base, and 4th base of Forte has actually been untouched at all, so...
Look at this. It looks like he wants to set up a soft contain, even a sensor tower being queued up near those tanks. This is not going to work. Not the planetary.
Trying to use that splash damage to kill the tank, but that's not going to work, Forte. I'm sorry.
Now, look at this sensor tower going to come down. You could even add a couple of turrets, you know, just eat some of the tank fire, and if any Vikings get into the mix, could be nice.
Bomber is maxed, and Forte is about to be maxed as well, so... It's all going to be about army positioning and how these players are going to deal with these medevac drops. I mean, we see massive medevacs here from Bomber, and you might be able just to fly around and do a big surround with these Marines, but...
It looks like he wants to go for that 4th base.
Yeah.
Look at this huge drop. That's so many Marines over there going for that attack.
Yeah, I think Forte needs to move back and defend from this.
But he hasn't seen it at all.
His scans, and he's going to be wondering where are all the Marines. He has to take out the 4th base.
Well, he needs to be a better counter because he hasn't realized this by now.
Here we go. Here comes the Marines of Bomber.
The tanks are not sieged up. There's a bunch of units over here, but just not enough, I feel. And a huge stim in from Bomber. And how is Forte going to respond? He's going to go for the attack at the same time.
Oh, too many shots there from the tanks of Bomber. Actually taking out all these Marines and all these Marines.
He lost way too much there in that attack. And at the same time, he loses his third base. These Marines have not been cleaned up. And it looks like Bomber may have just gotten checkmate.
Yeah, that's it. But like with these production facilities going down from Forte, Bomber has so many Marines here, and Bomber just outmaneuvered Forte in this game.
He really did. That's really what it comes down to. We talk about it a lot in TVT, and it looks like Forte isn't going to leave just yet. He does not have the supply count as we do. He is going to try to get up into the main here of Bomber, but it looks like Bomber's got some defense here still. Yeah,
these tanks aren't enough for Forte to win this game. I mean, they're shelling away at these Marines, but...
They're actually getting a lot of kills, in fact, but honestly, the Marine count for Bomber is way, way higher. It's 60 to 13.
I mean, when you compare tanks to Marines, Marines are just more mobile, and with the medivacs that Bomber has, it can just fly across the map and take advantage of the fact that the tanks are less mobile than the Marines that,
It looks like Forte is desperately trying to get up some production there with barracks. And these Marines running into their death, not really getting any damage here. And it looks like the production of Bomber is going to go down as well. Bomber's definitely got the advantage in this one. More tanks on the map, 8 to 3 for Forte. But 49 Marines to 8 in favor of Bomber. He's also got more SCVs mining. He has also taken that gold base, whereas Forte is just mining from one base.
Okay, so we see Bomber actually has 3 Vikings, so if Forte decides to do some sort of base trade, floating shenanigans, he can just use that Viking to pick off the buildings, and there's not too many Marines here from Forte, which is quite unfortunate.
Look at this, Bomber is coming back.
Yeah. I think he could just fight this head on with the amount of Marine. Like, as long as he doesn't just move up that small, narrow ramp.
Like, stim up the ramp and lose all of his Marines, and we're like, are you serious? Well, here are the Vikings. He can't afford to lose these.
He needs to move that Viking to the corner. I think Bomber is a smart enough player that he should recognize the situation that he's in right now.
Well, Forte has restarted this Marine count, and this game is not over by any means.
And note that Forte has quite a sizable amount of banks, so even if he does lose that command center, he can still build units.
Yeah, that's a really good point. In fact, takes out, I think that's one of the last factories that Bomber has. Yeah, it's the second to last one. It looks like he's got one more on the map. Trying to find exactly where that is. Oh, it looks like it's at that gold base right now, and he is in fact making those siege tanks.
Oh man, well this day today has just been so many crazy games, and this one's really nice. Point. Yeah, he's gonna snipe that planetary fortress.
Yeah, at the same time, Bomber has kind of realized that he needs to do that same kind of damage to the buildings of Forte, so he's gonna come over here and stim. All this is gonna be canceled.
Yeah, he needs to split here, mitigate as much damage as he can from the Planetary Fortress. And there goes Planetary Fortress, and Forte has no mining right now. He can't land his production facilities.
He's trying to get those barracks out of the way. Looks like one of them is going to survive, and Forte's going to restart another command center in the main.
I love how Bomber there is just sitting at the gold base, just mass queuing tanks there, because...
Yeah. Forte needs to identify this right now. Bomber is close, but he could get over there and at least kill the tanks, kill the factory.
I think Bomber just has too much of a presence across the map. There's not really much that Forte can mine from. He can probably go to somewhere in the south side, but...
Maybe if he kills the entire army right here, right now, he's going to snipe a tank. Another one getting very low. The Vikings, though. You were talking about that. He needs those Vikings.
Honestly, I don't think there's any Marines for Forte to defend. Like, maybe he can just pick up these Marines and just drop onto the tanks, because there's not enough Marine power from Forte to deal with the medevac drops if he decides to do that. And
look at all these bases taken across the map by Bomber. He's taking top left and the gold and the bottom right, and retaking his third.
I'm not really sure if being patient here is the best course for Bomber here. As I keep mentioning, he does have the superior Marine count. He can probably just drop onto these arms. Oh, that's actually really bad from Forte there.
Yeah, Forte needs to survive. He can't lose a single unit. That's always the way it is in these kinds of situations.
Nearly loses that tank, but I mean, if we look at the unit count, only 9 Marines here from Forte. And most of them are here, and he should be losing it to the Planetary. That's... Oh, GG.
That's it. Bomber wins. And we are going to go to an ace match. Kind of funky the way it works out, but MVP needs this win to make it into the playoffs. This is so important for them. Not so much for Afreeca, who's 0-5 so far.
I mean, that has to be a really good confidence boost for Bomber, but... I mean, Forte had that game in the bag when he was stopping the mining from the 4th. He had that soft contain onto Bomber, but he allowed Bomber to sneak around the map. And that was such a veteran move there from Bomber with the sneaking around the map. And without those production facilities to help reinforce the army of Forte, it got to a scrappy situation, sure, but yeah.
It really came down to that one gigantic drop that Bomber did to go into the natural, or the third base rather, and essentially just kill everything that Forte had. And I think it just comes down to experience after that. Like, Bomber's been in so many of those situations, like so many more times than Forte.
He knows how to map it out in his head, so Forte looks devastated, and honestly, Forte played really well. It's just that one move that Bomber did just was checkmate for Bomber.
Forte looked in such a good position, man. The sensor tower coming down. He had a really nice soft contain. He was beginning to tip away at that 4th base.
Like, I think the moment where Forte could have sealed the game was when Bomber had those tanks at that back expansion, and they were just sitting there. They weren't at the front of the ramp of Bomber, and Forte didn't really take advantage of that, as we are going to see our ace match. What are your predictions for the ace match? I think
it's got to be Gumio.
Yeah,
Gumio's coming out here, but who plays
Curious,
for Afreeca?
I think it's going to be either Curious or Super.
Curious is hard because Curious lost today.
But the thing is, they should know that it's going to be Gumiho. So I think Super would be the best. I think a rematch would be the best for Afreeca. I'm not really sure how well Curious' ZVT is right now, honestly, but
yeah,
I think it'll definitely be Gumiho for MVP.
Yeah, and Afreeca could definitely use that to their advantage, as you were talking about. So I feel like they do have a lot of options to just throw out here as like a sniper pick against him.
I'm gonna laugh if it's like Seed or something for MVP.
I mean, they've done it before, okay? And it has worked. So let's get the reveal. Who's it gonna be here in the ace match between Afreeca and MVP?
Super against Gumiho. So we're gonna have a rematch of Game 2, that crazy game.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be sick, man. Tell your friends to get into the stream here. In a couple of minutes, we're going to begin the ace match. And as we said before, this is very important for MVP. They need to win this in order to have a chance of making it into the playoffs. But guys, we're going to take a 10-minute break before we get to that ace match. We'll be right back.